Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I hope you all are doing well, and you might have been through the lectures that I have given on the lesson from the Battle of Uhud. So, in the previous lecture, we started discussing the study questions, and we were done with the first part, that was recalling. And in today's lecture, lecture number 21, we will be discussing the other parts, that is interpreting. As previously I have told you that interpretation is something that we take out of the given situation, or for example, I am going to give you a particular course of time, and I am going to give you like a few words and few quotations maybe, and then if you are going to take a meaningful meaning out of those words, that is going to be your own interpretation. How you are going to understand the thing, that is going to be your interpretation. So the question number 17 asks us, how was the Battle of Uhud an extension of the Battle of Badr? So we are going to interpret it. We are going to make our own meaning, that why we are going to call it as the extension of the Battle of Badr. So in the Battle of Badr was the first battle between Muslims and the Quraysh, fought in 2 Hijri, 2nd Hijri. In this battle the Muslim got victory over Quraysh. 70 warriors of Quraysh were killed by the hand of Muslims. The Quraysh were burning over the crushing defeat in the Battle of Badr and wanted to take revenge from the Muslims. They launched a war against the Muslim, which was fought at the place of Uhud. So basically they had the previous war, they had the previous battle where the Muslims they succeeded and the Quraysh were defeated. So because of that war they want to take revenge from the Muslims. That is why we are going to call it as an extension. Okay, question number 18. The wiser ones were in favor of staying in Medina, while the younger ones wanted to meet the enemy in open. What light do these strategies throw on the nature of the old and young in the war? So the wiser ones were in favor of staying in Medina, while the younger ones wanted to meet the enemy in open. These strategies show that the younger are always enthusiastic and sometimes they take emotional decision. The older and wiser ones always take this decision after much deliberation and consultation. The old ones are experienced people, their view always carry weight. So the old and the wiser ones, they were somehow analyzing the situation and their army, while the younger they were very emotional and enthusiastic. They just want to protect their religion, protect their area, protect Islam. Okay. Question number 19. Why did the Holy Prophet ﷺ command his companion to occupy the high ground at Uhud? So the Holy Prophet commanded his companions to occupy the high ground at Uhud because it was the best place from the strategic point of view. They could easily hit the enemy and defeat themselves. The whole movement of the enemy soldiers could be noticed. A band of archers was deployed at the mount for defending Muslims at the back. So basically, as we have already ourselves picturized the area, that it was a ground and a high mound, and the Muslims, they were somehow, some of them were occupying in the ground and some were they were at the top position. So basically the position was good to look at the army of Quraysh and to defend the Muslims from their backside. Okay, question number 20. Why were the Muslims demoralized at one stage of the battle? In the early stage, the battle was in favor of the Muslims, but because of the tactical mistakes made by the archers, the battle turned into reverse and the Quraysh came to have upper hand for a while. They attacked the Muslims from all sides and many of them were martyred. The Muslims got demoralized when they heard that the Holy Prophet ﷺ had been killed. They lost courage and were not willing to fight anymore. It was because they came to know that their leader is no more. Okay, question number 21. Why were the Quraysh unable to take advantage of their short-lived victory? So the Quraysh were unable to take advantage of their short victory because the Muslims under the command of Hazrat Ali Radiallahu Ta'ala Anhu fell upon the enemy like thunderbolts and forced them to run away from the battlefield. The Quraysh could not gather booty and went back to Makkah. And we can also see that they were happy, they were somehow celebrating that their leader is no more, so they might not fight against us. So that was the confusion that the Quraysh also faced. This was the reason that they were not able to take advantage from the short-lived victory. Okay, 22. Why is the Battle of Uhud called a dawn battle? So in the beginning the Muslims fought bravely, got victory over the Quraysh, and the Quraysh had to flee from the battlefield. Seeing the Quraysh running in defeat, a band of archers, contrary to the instructions of the Holy Prophet, left their position in order to collect booty. The Quraysh came back and attacked the Muslims from all sides. There were casualties on both sides. No party could get clearly victory. It may be called a drawn battle. That is the reason that it is called as the drawn battle, or we can say that the Battle of Uhud called as drawn battle because neither the Muslim nor the Quraysh could get any clear advantage over one another. While many Muslims died as martyrs, the casualties of Quraysh were even more in number. Also, the Quraysh could not march to Medina. They chose to return Makkah. They could not make any Muslim as captive. That is why it is called as the drawn battle. Okay, the next part is the extending. So how we are going to extend it, or how we are going to relate it. If the archers had not left their high post, the Quraysh would have been handed another humiliating defeat. What far-reaching consequences could it have had for the future of Muslims? So if the archer had not left their high post, the Quraysh would not have been handed another humiliating defeat. It would have left far-reaching consequences for Muslims. The Quraysh had lost heart and never dared to face the Muslims. This resulted in a spread of Islam. So though the Muslim won the battle, but it would have been a much better winning when if the archer would have not left their post, and it would have been a very great battle because 700 fighting against 3000 is not an easy task to do. Okay, 24. Recalling your knowledge of Muslim history, which battle proved that the Holy Prophet ﷺ was right in proposing to stay in Medina and let the Quraysh besiege the city? The proposal of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, to stay in Medina proved true in the Battle of Khandaq. This is you can say that extending reading from your knowledge, that what kind of knowledge you are possessing about your religion, about the history of your religion. So yes, Khandaq is one of the best example, and maybe Uhud would have been another example because the Holy Prophet himself suggested to stay in Medina. Okay, this is the last part of this reading section 3.1. You are now going to write. The students will be asked to write in their own words the summary of the lesson. It is for your revision. I think it's not a very difficult task because we all are well aware of the history. We all have read about Uhud, about Badr. So you are going to write the summary of the lesson without looking at the book, of course. And when you will come back, you will be having these assignments in hard form. Okay, the students will be asked to write a short essay on "It is wise to act upon the advice of the leader." This is the core idea of the lesson. It is related to the main idea of the title, duty and responsibility. So you are going to write a short essay on this topic also. Thank you so much. That is the end of your reading section 3.1.